Well, here we are for the garden, end of June. It's looking quite nice. A little walkabout. The lilies are finally coming out. It'll be really impressive once they all come out. Lovely smell coming off of them. It's all nice and tidy. Cut all the hedges. Cut all the grass. Got a new lawnmower. Cut all the grass. This is a little apple tree that was coppiced last year. Doing really well. I was out picking the chilies this morning. I'm going to make a nice chili sauce this morning. Not had any off of that one. That must be a super hot. It's taking its time. But there's one that's fallen off. Ladybird in there. There's one that's fallen off. Yeah, they look like a super hot Reaper or something. But got quite a few of the others. They're going to be making their tomato sauce. That's the Chilean guava. That had loads of flowers. I should have got some pictures of it. But looks like we're going to get a lot of fruit off of that. They're come out a little bit smaller than a pea, the fruits, but they taste like bubble gum. Then we've got the pumpkin down there. The eggplants out here haven't really done much, but they've started producing indoors. This is gooseberry. It's been eaten right back to bare wood. Now it's starting to recover now I've moved it. So these chilies are not going to really show much because I've had all the ripe ones off. Tomatoes are starting to pick up, loads of flowers on the dwarf tomatoes. And then these yellow ones are freebies, they just grew. It's looking nice in this area. Got the chilies in there, free hollyhock. The lavender's all taken. I put them in last year. They've settled in. Then we've got echiums for next year. I took some of the echiums out as well because they'd finished. Chop them up, put them down the bottom of the garden for the insects. I didn't think these were that hot, but they're quite hot actually for big peppers. They're hot and bitter. So the chili sauce can have a mixture of everything in it. Alright, so that's the front garden. Got the peace rose here. It's nice to have a peace rose. Doesn't seem to bring much peace in the world, but Buddleia is looking pretty luminous. The one over the other side hasn't done much, it's just starting to come out actually. This yellow rose has died off for now. Pink rose rather. I deadheaded it, so that'll come back. This is the other Buddleia. Some sort of leaf problem with that. Some sort of disease, but it's coming back. Don't want it too big anyway. They take over the Buddleias. So let's go and have a look around the back. Back's looking tidy in places, but it's not as tidy as I'd like it to be. The dandelions are taking over along here, as you can see. But don't mind the dandelions. Start making something out of them actually. Look for some recipes. White rose is looking really nice. That's just really established this year. Started putting out some nice flowers. Roses are nice to have. They're easy, low maintenance plant. The Sambuca nigra, cotoneaster, that's finished flowering for this year. It's got all these little berries on. Camellia's finished. Getting a bit crowded out with that. Then we've got the Acer, another echium there, all ready for next year. They've just self-seeded, a lot of this is self-seeded. The Acer I planted a couple of years ago, a few years ago, and then I topped it, and I should prune that into a cloud sort of formation pattern. Then we've got the the sunflowers coming through. This area might look like weeds, but there's celery in there, there's chard, there's flowers, there's chilies over there, there's a grape at the back. There's the grape, not really put any fruit on. I even need to train that up. Oh, we have got fruit in there. We have got grape, but I don't think we'll get many grapes this year. Chilies down there. Lovely sunflowers. The birds can have the sunflower seeds. Then we've got celery along there. There's a chili pepper there. That's being eaten away by the looks of it. Let's have a bit of that celery to eat while I walk around the garden. Yeah, it tastes nice. The early raspberries are finished, and these later tall ones, get them later in the year. Still getting a few stragglers. Tomatoes have just started to pick up. In fact, I know there's a couple of ripe ones over in the corner there. So I'll pick them in a bit. Strawberries are finished for the year. Well, I noticed some of the ones in the ground are just giving off a few. That cucumber I've brought out now because it's more or less had its days. I've replaced it with a big tall one there. This one's still putting fruit out, so keep that going. Got peppers, bell peppers there, King of the North sort of bell peppers, and the eggplants starting to put fruit out now. I've got a couple of eggplants in there. This big chilli, I had all the chilies off of this morning, so let's go and have a look out. I say tomatoes are starting to produce now. Probably end up with a glut at some point. All these baskets need flowers taken out or the plants taken out and repotting. Rosemary's looking a bit bedraggled. Probably needs a bit of a prune actually, that rosemary. Yeah, just the last echium over this side. It's quite a big one. And then the pears, I'll take that one off because that's a bit of a mank. It's just wasting energy. Put it back down there. So I always put my grass clippings around the bottom of these trees. Keep the weeds out, keep some moisture in. Probably got half a dozen pears on that, which is its first year for fruit, so that's not bad. And over here, plum, it's not looking massively happy. Got plums on it, but had aphids all over it. So mind you, that'll be a sacrificial tree for this one here. This one's doing a lot better. It's got a lot more fruit and a better sized fruit, so I don't mind having one sacrificial tree. Apple, he's pruning into some form of shape later in the year. Got a dozen or so apples on that, which hopefully they'll get to a good size. This is one of the coppiced apples. Well, coppiced at about knee height. I shall take this branch out next year. Try and keep it as a singular column. Strawberries down there. I didn't bother watering them. They got little berries on them, but I should leave them for this year. And then they're over to the cherries. Again, they've got a lot of aphid damage at the top, but they're still establishing. We've got cherries. Still a few cherries on here. Got a few under there. But that one's finished. The fruit for that one's finished now. And we've got the hazelnuts. They look like they're going to give a good crop this year. You've got hazelnuts all along there, and that's a big old cob nut there, and that's got loads of nuts on it. Little coppiced apple. Got half a dozen apples on that one. as I say, it's just recovering after its coppice, so don't mind that. So, you know, if you are thinking of coppicing your apples, they will coppice. And they'll produce nice. The idea of these trees here is to keep nice and manageable size. There's a pear there. It's so heavy with fruit it looks like a willow the way it's drooping over. I should probably thin out a bit of that, but it all looks pretty healthy fruit. That's a pear. So we've got 2 pear trees in the garden. I've got a dozen apple trees. We've got figs over here. These are brown turkey figs. This has taken a few years to find its feet, but it's getting there now. I should give probably get half a kilo of good fruit off of that this year, and then next year it'll really go. Apples here. I had them 2 apples off of there just to try them. They were a bit bitter still, but that's looking really lush and happy, that tree. Not getting any water at the moment. As I say, they're getting mulched with grass clippings around the bottom, keep them weed free. I shall plant some of them strawberries in the baskets around these, so all these trees will have strawberries around them. Another little coppiced apple there, not got any apples on it. Trying to find its feet again. Down there, that's a tiny little one. I thought it was an apple, it's actually a quince. So, quince there. This middle hedge got to trim up. In fact, all the hedges got trimmed up. Good couple of 100-foot of hedging in this garden to do. Then we've got some russets, starting to look more like russets now. Only a couple or so on there. That's quite heavy bearing. I took that long branch off. In fact, I could thin some of these out. I'm not going to do it now, but it won't hurt to thin some of them out. Get bigger size apples. More less likely to rot as well. Take some of the smaller ones off. They can go back down where the clippings are. And we've got cherry here, so that's 3 cherries we got. We ate them. That's an early producing cherry variety. Again, all the cherries have got a lot of aphid damage, but they'll recover. Got 3 thistles there. That's just planted itself. So I always like 3 flowers. Some people might not want thistles in the garden, but if it's free, it looks nice. It's not doing any harm, it can stay. Then we've got the sunflowers along here just starting to come out. Got a fuchsia down there, but it's getting a bit tangled up with bindweed. Got another rose there, what I put in earlier this year. Seems to have taken alright. Got the purple rose over there. I took a couple of them echiums out yesterday because they'd finished. But they're a good size. Rose needs deadheading. And then we'll get another flurry of rose buds later in the year. I mean, the petals are always good. You can use them for cooking and all sorts. Olives, absolutely abundant with olives, but they're only tiny, and I'm not really watering this, only every now and then. There's the echiums all the way up to the sky. Hopefully we'll get a jolly green giant up there. This purple rose had a hard cut back last year, and it's taking back off. I should train that in along that wall this year. But these beds really need quite a bit of work getting this bindweed out, and I haven't got time at the moment with everything else trying to decorate. Got an apple tree there. These were originally espaliered, but I'm letting them go now. That's a hell of a lot of fruit. They really do produce nicely when you espalier them. That's for the apples. This is a fig, different type of fig, this one. This is like a zebra type. Got a lot of fruit on that. Good size as well by the looks of it. These are all wildflowers and just 3 flowers that have decided to plant themselves, dandelions. lot of bindweed in there. There's another apple tree, little apple tree over the back there. Then got a plum tree here. Didn't realise it was a plum when I put it in. I thought it was sold to me as an apple tree, and it was only after a few years of espalier in it that I realised, yeah, they're going to be good size, them figs. They're nearly ready. Nice. We've got a few plums coming out of the top of that. I'll probably let them go actually, because then it creates a bit of a screen along this fence from the wind and from the neighbours and everything else. And we've got another apple, and that was espaliered at some point, and now I'm letting them go. They've got a lot of fruit on them. Another espalier apple there, although I didn't really shape that up for espalier, and I'll just put that in. That's got quite a bit of fruit. That's a very late, that's sort of one of the last to pick, that one. Then we got the fig. That's a brown turkey fig. I brought that over as a cutting, little cutting in a pot. And I cut that right back last year, half of it. Didn't do it all because I didn't want to lose it. At least I'd have a 50% chance of keeping it. And that always produces nice brown turkey, that is. That always produces lovely when it gets going. It was a mess down here, but I haven't really done much down here at the end because of the bumblebees. Just leave them to do their thing. These hazels are getting really big. Getting a really good size hazelnut on them. That's a huge one. And they're all sort of coming out good size. So hazelnuts there. Got some free potatoes there. They decided to plant themselves, so I'll dig them up later once they're done. That's a little Echium pile there, just for the insects and hedgehogs. They can get in there and be happy. The nettle patch is dying off now. That'll see till next year. I don't mind this as a little wild area down there. Then there's cob nuts. They're really starting to put a lot of nuts out there. I want to keep them quite low. Don't want to get these too big. Then we've got the water source, IBC tanks with water. This bed was where the broad beans were, and that's gonna get planted up. I'm gonna have a look what to sow right in there. That was broad beans. I had a couple of straggling tomatoes in there. They don't look very happy actually. That one does. I laid that down so it can adventitious root into the ground, and then we'll get a bush up. I might even take them out if I decide to plant that. And the Echium that was in the corner, I've taken out. Got blackberries up there from the neighbour's garden. Never picked them, so I help myself to them. Compost piles all filled up, watered down so it don't catch light. Then up the end here, that's where the bumblebee nest is, in that corner. And again, got 3 potatoes on the compost heap, so once that compost comes out of there, once the bumblebees are finished, should get a lot of potatoes. It's blackberries. These are good sized blackberries up here, and they're starting to ripen up now. It's quite early. There's a big one up there, if I can get it. Looks like it's got my name on it. So there we are, blackberries in June, end of June. Oh, and they're sweet. Oh, that's sweet. I wasn't expecting that. That's a medlar there. Loads of fruit on it. I really should at some point get in and tidy all this out, restack that wood pile, although that wood pile was specifically put there, 1 for spare wood and 2 for the insects and small animals, rodents that want to get in there. Potato bed's doing well. these were started off in pots and then transferred into here. Not the best way of doing potatoes, but thought I'd take advantage of the bed. So that's back to back potatoes growing in here. They seem happy. And then we've got sweet corn. Sweet corn's doing wonderful. And I saw yesterday on Dave's allotment, he reckons they've got to have 120 days to produce corn on sweet corn. I didn't know that. But as you can see, we've got multiple cobs forming on these. Each one's going to give 2 or 3 cobs, and some of them are a bit less, some are a bit straggly. Got the lettuce going to seed there. That's got about 3 cobs on that one. So we should have a nice bit of sweet corn. I don't mind the weeds in the bed because they keep the moisture in. Also they're beneficial for the insects. Shouldn't have too manicured a garden. That's the red cob nut. It's, the sun's bleached it out a bit, but that's got quite a few good size. They're smaller than the normal cob nut, these ones. Same taste, it's only the colour that's really different in them. That's producing cob nuts all over. So we'll cut the end. Go through this little gap. And I can see the other blackberries, which we should have up here. Temperature today, about 70 something, 75ish. And then again from the neighbour's garden we've got a load of blackberries coming. And there's another one I see there with my name on it. These are a great big type of blackberry, these. I wonder if they're as sweet. Oh yeah. Yeah, really sweet. Really, really sweet. Loads of blackberries there. Got Jim's there. Up to the sky. So that's the garden so far for the end of June. Looking nice, looking all tidy. It's been a good year for some stuff, cucumbers. Not a great year for tomatoes so far, but never mind that. So there we have it, end of June, garden.